Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Loki, and today we're going to be doing episode 1 of who knows what the series is going to be called. I haven't come up with it as of the recording of the video itself, but maybe I'll come up with it afterwards, or maybe I'll never will. We'll see what it is, but in the future, that is for future me. Right now, in the present, we are going to be reviewing the first episode of To the Beasts that were once known as gods, or To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts, or in Japanese also known as
かつて神だった獣たちへ。
Up to the first episode, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. It's Studio MAPPA. I was walking into this anime semi-blind because I had read the synopsis for it earlier this week, and then I had completely forgotten that this anime might have existed, so I actually was not aware of what was going to happen throughout the first episode, if you can believe my terrible memory or not. So now, it's Studio MAPPA, and Studio MAPPA is known for its one of two kinds of anime. One, not bad, and two, a complete dumpster fire. Actually, there's a third one. The third one would be not bad into a complete dumpster fire. So as you may or may not have expected already, I was going in a little bit skeptical about the direction of the anime. It kind of opens up with a very cliched war scenario, and I was getting my hopes a little bit down because it was kind of looking like every other war anime, but then these white coats show up, and I did remember somewhere that there was going to be some dark magic, or magic in particular, and this guy walks up, and he looks like a fucking wizard. He has these tiny-ass glasses, and he has this, like, weird birthmark, or burn mark, or whatever the mark on his face is, which you'll soon find out later what it is, and you think he's gonna be, like, he looks like he's walking up, and he's gonna be casting Fireball at 5th level, and instead, the birthmark fucking expands on his face, and then he becomes an entire dragon, and then he throws the Fireball. Completely unnecessary, but very enjoyable, I will say. And then I watch as all of his other dudes turn into fucking different guys, and then they run over this castle in 3 seconds, and that was pretty enjoyable, to say the least. Afterward is this camp scene where they're kind of touching base on what I assumed was going to be the basis of the anime, which was the war happening, and throughout the war, this squadron of beast-turning individuals, which are called incarnates, would face this dilemma of being, like, treated as lesser than human and more like weapons, and the struggle of that. So basically, I was thinking it was going to be along the lines of that one episode from Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, but it turns out, at the end of the first episode, they kind of just end the war right there. I won't tell you what happens to cause that, but it does shift my expectations a little bit, and I did read the synopsis afterward, and it turns out the story is not about just Hank, which is the main character. As you can see, it kind of follows him most of the time, so you assumed he would be the main character, but it turns out from the synopsis that actually there's another character that's going to be introduced very soon, who is the daughter of an incarnate who tries to hunt him. He has become kind of, after the war, a beast hunter, an incarnate hunter, because the incarnates are going crazy and losing their physical form completely and becoming beasts full time and going, like, erratic and destroying whatever, and he has taken it upon himself to hunt them, and this girl is taking it upon herself to hunt him, and I'm guessing she gets a change of heart or whatever when she first meets him, because the story is about these two. And it kind of gives me a father-daughter dynamic, a teacher-father-student-daughter dynamic, but, like, also, like, you know, on the level of equals, kind of reminds me of maybe a Golden Kamui, or something along the later parts of The Last of Us by Naughty Dog. A game, not an anime, but same kind of deal. Some things I liked about the anime, its fight scenes were not bad. I was expecting some absolute horse shit, but instead I was pleasantly surprised that there was some semblance of choreography and some really neat shots and some great lighting. Studio MAPPA, I guess, can not disappoint in that regard, so I'm at least happy that I won't be dropping the anime based on appearance alone. I like that it kind of turned it on its head. Instead of being just a story about war, it was gonna be more about the consequences afterward. And although this has been touched on in the past, I think it's still much more interesting than it of being during the war, because hell do we know we have way too many of those. Now, some things I didn't really enjoy about the anime itself was definitely some of the ham-fisted dialogue and attempts to give you backstory in kind of like a spoon-fed way. There were a lot of times where I was thinking maybe it wasn't required. Like, do I really need to know this to enjoy this scene specifically? There is one scene that comes to mind very, very prominent, is of the main character Hank and his best friend Kane, and the dialogue literally goes, "Do you remember how we first met?" And then Hank says, "Of course I remember, blah, 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 blah." And it literally plays out exactly like how you think it's going to play out, and it kind of introduces, or is supposed to introduce, these characters having some sort of pre-war bond before coming in here. Not really necessary. Also, a little bit of wasted space. I think they could have really worked with it. A lot of the pacing had issues because they were trying to rush through not only establishing the beasts as a prominent part of the war, but then also ending the war in the first part. So a little bit of a rush job there. I wish they could have given some more time, but the anime will only have about 12 episodes, so I guess they really do need the 11 episodes to build up the character dynamic between this girl whose name is Nancy and Hank, who has presumably been the main character up until this point, and these two are going to be hunting the renegade incarnates up until the ending of the series, and we're going to face some more dilemmas. I'm hoping it's going to be kind of like he's teaching her about his experience, and she's going to learn from his fighting experience in that sense, and she's going to get to also learn about how the war has affected him, not only previously, but also how his previous war experiences are affecting him in everyday life. I'm hoping it'll go down that route instead, because I think that'll make for a better anime. Definitely getting some also vibes of maybe a Dimension W here, because she seems to be semi-capable of fighting. I haven't seen much about her. I only got to see a couple shots of her, but she is, like, wielding a gun, so maybe she's able to fight, or maybe she's not able to fight, and he teaches her how. There's a lot of things that could happen. Excited to see what will happen, but also I'm a little bit skeptical and a little bit scared, because this can easily derail and become something non-comprehensible and a little bit too cheesy and not interesting. Hopefully MAPPA can pick up the ball and not drop it. I'm excited to see where this goes. If you are interested in watching it, you should go ahead and watch the first episode and then tell me how you think about it, if you agree or disagree with what I think about this series. If this entire explanation has turned you off, that's completely okay. Just drop it and wait for other people to tell you that it's either bad or good. And if it's bad, you can be like, oh, I told you so. Or if it's good, then you can pick it up and watch it after the season's over and just binge all 12 episodes instead of having to wait every episode a week like I do. Next episode, I'm going to be probably watching, I don't know, maybe like how heavy are the dumbbells you lift or something stupid like that. Not quite sure just yet, but we'll figure it out as time goes on. This was the first episode of blank insert series title name here, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Peace.